Good morning, welcome back to my channel. It is Carla's Calorie Crush, week 53, week 1 of year 2. I can't decide what to call it. It's my 53rd week of trying to be thinner, smaller, way less. Off to a flying start. As I told you last week, this week's video is a little bit slimmed down because I didn't do a food diary this week. I didn't film my food. There is going to be a section in this video where I show you how many calories I had each day. This is going to be one quick page of how many calories I had each day, which will tell you a weekly total of the calories. I'm still on 2,000 calories per day, giving me a weekly total of 14,000 calories to stay within. I have checked that on the TDE calculator. I continually check that. I think the reason that people struggle to understand why I haven't lowered my calories is because maybe I didn't make it clear in the first place that when I went straight in at 2,000, I could have been on far more. When I originally weighed in at 27 stone 2, way back a year ago, my allowance could have been 2,600, and I decided that I was only going to have 2,000. What that means is that still now my allowance is 2,000 because I've still crept down and my allowance is still 2,000. I have explained that a couple of times, but every week there are new people who haven't seen the channel before, so every week there are going to be people who wonder why it isn't changing and so on and so forth. So my allowance is still 2,000, and because I have a little bit more exercise built into my lifestyle now, that allowance could actually have gone up a bit again, and still I'm all right on 2,000. I'm okay. That does mean that on the days when I go over by a few, I don't worry about it because I know that my target is still under my allowance. I don't worry about it. This also means that sometimes I don't worry about it a bit too much. I go, oh well, never mind, and I should have worried. It's not an exact science. This is the thing. Weight loss is not an exact science, and calorie counting is not an exact science, because when the manufacturers tell you how many calories are in things, they're allowed some leeway as well. Package sizes differ. I remember having a ready meal that said it was, I'm going to go with an arbitrary amount of 400 grams. I can't remember what it actually was, but when I weighed it, it was almost 100 grams less. These things are not an exact science. The science is in the making yourself focus on not eating too much, as usual. It's been a funny old week. Because I wasn't recording a food diary, there were times when I felt like I didn't need to behave, and what this has proven to me is that I need you guys as my, what's that word? Accountability. I need the accountability of recording my food for you guys so that I don't go, nobody's going to know. Because it doesn't actually matter whether anybody knows. The journey is supposed to be about me. I'm supposed to be losing weight. It doesn't matter. If I cheat anyone, I cheat myself. But there have been times this week when I've gone, I'm a bit off the leash this week. I can be a bit wild. Friday was a really, really weird day. I started off focused, full on plan when I woke up in the morning. We went out for a late breakfast. I'm going to talk about meals and the way I've been structuring meals this week in a second, if I remember. Went out for a late breakfast, and for some reason I went on the bread. Here we are again. It is almost 4 weeks since I went on the bread last time, so maybe there is a pattern emerging. Maybe it is that cyclical pattern emerging, that here's the bread again, here's the carbs, and we must be due on. But yeah, went on the bread Friday, and as soon as I've gone on the bread, it's as if my brain flicks into, well, you've buggered it now, you may as well do what you want. Very strange. So I had 3 slices of bread at breakfast with butter and jam. Only a very thin scraping of butter, but still butter and jam. And then because we'd had breakfast late, we'd had breakfast about 11, I was not going to have lunch. I was going to go straight through and have my evening meal. But I was picking Lex up from the train at 7 and we were going out to eat after that. And so that was quite a long gap for evening meal. And round about 4 o'clock, I inhaled a packet of biscuits that I took from Natalie's room. They weren't even my biscuits. I went into her room for something entirely different, spotted a packet of biscuits and went, no. I have bought her a packet, I've replaced her biscuits. In fact, I bought her a better brand. They were the Aldi copy of the World's Best Biscuits, which are always my downfall, but I have bought her the World's Best Biscuits, the proper Fox's ones, in return. And once I'd eaten a packet of biscuits, even though at that point I was still within calories, I was definitely off the wagon then. We went out Friday night, I had fish and chips, I ordered a side of onion rings for us all to share. Nobody shared, I ate them all. And then I ate Lexi's onion rings as well. She didn't have a whole portion, but she had a few on her plate and I ate hers as well. She didn't want them. I did manage not to have a large slice of cake. And Saturday I did pull it back and I get back on the wagon. But yeah, Friday I was off the leash completely. And definitely not Lexi's fault, definitely not, because she is very aware of my lack of willpower and she really does try not to encourage me down bad habits. I don't need any encouragement, I'm there. I'm leading the way towards bad habits. I'm like, bad habits this way, come on you lot. That said, I did pull it back over the weekend a bit, and in the interest of full disclosure, today's Tuesday and I've only just weighed. I didn't weigh yesterday. I had a horrible migraine yesterday when I woke up and I was like, I can't move my head. I can't stand up, I feel sick, and I just laid in bed until maybe lunchtime-ish when I actually got up. And then, I don't know, for some reason I was not in weighing mode, because I always weigh first thing Monday morning, naked, empty, I'd been to the toilet, haven't eaten anything, haven't drunk anything, and I think because I'd been in bed all morning, I'd been drinking fluids to try, and then you have this idea in your head that I'm full of fluids now, so I'm going to weigh loads, so I'm not getting on the scale. So I didn't. So I've only weighed on Tuesday morning, which I suppose could be considered as cheating because I've given myself an extra day. But I'll weigh on Monday next week, which means I'll lose a day. So it'll even out, won't it? We're going to go now. We're going to look at the calorie totals for the week very, very quickly. Then I'll hop on the scale so you can see how I've done. Last week I weighed 287 pounds. It's Tuesday, it's scales time. And it's 286.4, which I round up to 286.5, which is, I think that's half a pound off. Half a pound off I am okay with. Strictly speaking, I've just been looking at the actual snippet of recording. Last week I was 286.6, which I rounded up. This week's I'm 286.4, which I round up. I've only actually lost 0.2 of a pound, really. But because I round up, because that makes the maths easier and it makes using the tracking board easier and all the rest of it, feels like half a pound and it feels like a win. Here's my little half a pound token going on the board. Can she do it without knocking them off? 6 stone, 9.5 pounds weight loss. Happy with that. Quite happy with a half a pound this week. Quite relieved, in fact, if I'm honest. I probably, if I'd got on the scales yesterday, wouldn't have lost half a pound this week. So I probably have cheated a little bit. I don't care. Like I said, I'll lose that day again when I get back on Monday of next week. So karma will come and bite me if it needs to. I wanted to talk about meals. I'm trying to restructure how I eat. When I came into this a year ago, I was very focused on I must have breakfast. I must start the day well. Start the day with a calorie-controlled, nutritious breakfast, and that will set me up for the day. It doesn't really fit how my body wants to eat. Now, admittedly, my body wants to live on cake, so we're ignoring that. But what I mean is I don't wake up and immediately want food. It always amazes me when you see people on films and they're getting out of bed in their pyjamas and go and sit around the breakfast table. And I'm like, are you crazy? It's not time to eat yet. So I don't want to eat first thing. I come in here about 6 AM and I start work first thing because that's when my brain is most worky mode. And around about 8 o'clock I've been having a cereal bar because then I'm peckish but I'm working. And around about 9:30 I've been forcing myself to have breakfast because if I don't have breakfast now I'm going to miss the breakfast segment of the day and mess it all up. And I've been thinking about this and I'm thinking there's no law that says I have to have my meals at a certain time and there's no law that says I have to have 3 meals a day. So what I've been doing this last week is trying to have my cereal bar about 8 o'clock when I'm peckish, and then a really, really late breakfasty stroke brunch idea, and then an earlier dinner. It helps because it leaves me a little bit more time, a little bit more calories for snacks because I'm having 2 meals instead of 3. And which means if I want snacks in the evening, I've got calories left for them, which I hadn't been having because I was very conscientiously trying to use up all those calories on having good meals. And then I was having extra calories because I still wanted the snacks. So it helps me that I have a few calories left for snacks if I want them in the evening. But it also helps because going to the gym in the evenings has been making the evening meal time difficult. We've been going to the gym about 8 o'clock. And I had been eating my evening meal about 6:30, 7 o'clock. And then I've been very kind of, I don't know what to have because I don't want to have a heavy meal because I'm going to the gym. I definitely don't want to eat after the gym because by then it's like 9, 9:30, it's too late for my dinner. Restructuring my meal times means that I have a late breakfast brunch at 11-ish, 12-ish. And then I have an early dinner at 5-ish. And then I'm good for the gym later on. And then I've still got a few calories left for a post-gym snack if I'm peckish. It seems to have been working this week so far. I have found it easier to stick to calories this week by doing it that way. I don't know what effect it may or may not have on weight loss. It shouldn't have any effect. If I'm still in a calorie deficit, I should still lose weight. That's how the science works. Eat less than you burn. That's it. All of the other dieting faff and blurbles and macros and this and that are all just extras. The bottom line with any weight loss system that you look at, if you asked anyone with a diet journey, a diet plan, a way to make people, if you asked any of them to distill it down into the bare essentials, it is eat less energy than you expel. Consume less than you expel. That's it. We make it into something so much more difficult than it really is. And I think perhaps the reason we do that is because if we make it feel difficult, we've given ourselves an excuse not to do it. I think. I'm not a psychotherapist. I'm not a scientist. I don't know nothing, me. I just know that if you eat less than you use, you will lose weight. Therefore, it shouldn't matter what time I have those meals or what I have as long as I am in a calorie deficit. It should work fine. It will be whether it affects me mentally and stops me going off the rails, because like I said, I've got to the point where I've used all my calories. By the end of my evening meal, my calories are gone, and then I've got the evening and I've got no calories left for anything else, and then I'm overeating because I'm resenting that I've got no calories left. I'm going into overdraft. It's a bit like a spending addict going, well, I've spent all my money and I deserve more stuff, so I'm going to spend my overdraft. It's like that. I do that. I deserve to have a snack. I'm pleased with my £0.5 loss this week. This is turning into a much longer ramble than I expected it to. I'm pleased with my £0.5 loss this week. I'm pleased with the way that my meals have gone this week, although I haven't been good as gold. I'm interested that I definitely need the accountability, so I'm going to go back to recording videos. That was the other thing I asked you guys last week, do you watch it? And most of you said that you do watch the food diary. A few of you said you skip it, and that's absolutely fine, and I understand why. But most of you said that you do watch it and that you enjoy it, so I'm going to go back to recording the meals. I don't know whether I'll put the calories for each meal on. I might just put a calorie total for the day. Because that's that funny little fiddly bit where I put how many calories are in each meal. Ridiculous amount of editing to squeeze. It's crazy, isn't it? So yeah, might skip that bit and just put the total calories for the day. And I am going to definitely try to tell you what snacks I've had during the day so that you can see where the calories have come from. Otherwise it'll go, I had boiled eggs on toast and then I had a salad and it was 14,000 calories, and you'll be like, how? So I'm going to try and make sure I include everything I've eaten. That's the plan, is to continue recording a food diary. I've gone back to it, started recording again yesterday, and we'll see how we get on with that. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for putting up with me rambling on about nothing. I hope that you're okay with this week's slimmed down one with no food diary. I did warn you it was coming. And I'll be back next week with Carla's Calorie Crush, Year 2, Week 2. I'm going to call this Year 2, Week 1. Next year, Year 2. Next week, Year 2, Week 2. I've lost the plot. Take care. See you soon. Bye for now.